Welcome back to a brand new coffee tech break with Jan. I think I got another great video for you lined up today. Good to see you. Good to see you back. So we continue the story with the applications on StudioX, but because I think I wanted to show you the experience. I showed you the Zoom experience in all those different modes, so personal, the Zoom room, or when you're not signed in. I showed you blue jeans, and I will continue this journey with today another application which we have on the StudioX. Now, first, let me give you an overview of the applications that we currently have. Wow, as you can see, some great applications out there. Now, specifically today, I want to jump into device mode. Permanent device mode. So this is also part of the application, so you can always jump to device mode if you want. But today, specifically want to show you permanent device mode. So how does that end user experience looks like, as well as on the big screen. And I will show you that experience on the TC8. Now, before we jump in the details of the device mode there, so what's the experience on the screen and on the TC8, let me first take you a little bit through the basis of device mode. So device mode is built into the Studio X and the G7500. There's no separate box needed, no separate license. Device mode gives you the flexibility that when a user walks on with his own laptop, you share camera, speaker and mic from Studio X to the laptop. And they just use the USB-C here on Studio X. They put that in the laptop. You have the HDMI cable to share screen. And those two cables will make device mode to the user with his laptop, and he can share everything. I think really flexible. I can think of training rooms or in rooms where you got a lot of external people. They use a lot of different video platforms. Then that gives you that flexibility, that permanent device mode. And you can use all the features and functions that are in Studio X, like noise block AI. You can use the camera tracking, speaker track, group track, presenter track. So everything is just available also through that device mode. So I will show you that also when walking through the interface and also through that experience. But first, what I will do is I will show you where I can enable device mode in the interface. So I'll do that on my laptop, and then we'll jump into my meeting room where I will show you that device mode and walk you through all the features and functions, as well as on the big screen and on the TC8. Now let's jump in my laptop now and show you where you can enable device mode. Now take a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and let me walk you through the interface where you can enable this permanent device mode. I will do that for the local web interface, and I'll also show you that quickly in Polylens, that new cloud-based centralized management tool which you can use. Now, first off, so the Studio X and G7500 have a web interface where you can connect to, and there you can make all the settings, camera, audio, but also provider settings. So you go to general settings, you go to provider, and here you will find device mode. So here you can set your Studio X or G7500 in that mode. And that means that the device is sharing camera, speaker and mic permanently over that USB cable. So the user walks in, just put in the USB cable, and he runs then any video application he can use, the Studio X, as his camera, speaker and mic. And same for the HDMI cable. And so he put in the HDMI cable and he can also share his screen. So I think this is a really flexible use case. You can always switch back to the applications at the end when needed. Now, what you've also available is all the features and functions that are in Studio X. So think, for example, of noise block. Let me go to audio. And here you see you got noise block AI also available, which filters out any unwanted noise. So just make sure that only voices are heard from the room side. Very, very flexible. Video, same thing. And so on the video side, we got all different modes available, like group tracking, speaker tracking, presenter tracking. This is all available also using the device mode. So I think that's very, very flexible. Let me show you this feature now also in PolyLens. And so PolyLens, centralized platform. If you haven't played around with it, I would really recommend to get your hands on it. There's a lot of things which happened in PolyLens. So this is the homepage here where you can find an overview of the devices. You see how many devices you got in your inventory. You can see the actions, so devices which are offline. And here you see your insights. So this is a brand new feature which asks a Poly Plus license. So I can put in the comments a link to Poly Plus, and then you get room insights. You can find some more details about how many participants in the room, or there was a meeting and people didn't show up, etc. Also, the menu, there's a lot has been done to PolyLens, as you will see. So you got your inventory, you got your actions, but also the policy is very, very nice. So you see, you got now device model, you can create device groups, you got sites, and also you see here individual devices. And as you can see, this is also the priority. So it starts with the device model, then it's a group, then you got a site, and a site is then based on IP address, a network identity, or a network range, and then individual device. So every configuration you do on an individual device will have the highest priority. So this is, I think, really, really powerful. Now, what is important that if you've done the onboarding using the PIN or the QR code, you won't be able to apply those policies. So make sure you register, you onboard your device fully with the onboarding process. And I can share that also in the comments to make sure you do that on the right way. So check really Lens, because as I said, there's a lot of things happened. Here you see your sites. As I said, sites are based on networks. So I can click, for example, here on customer sites, click on overview, device association. And here you see you can create a network based on a private subnet. So it's able to recognize that. These are sites. Then you can create rooms. So rooms are more a way to logically assign devices to rooms. Then you got device groups. So here you can create policies on different groups. We got device users. These are the users which are using the Lens desktop client. So these will be registered and it will show all the devices that they have. So I would really recommend to check that out. What I want to now just show you my device where you can change that setting. So let me search here for my X30. As you can see, it's fully registered. It is online, and it also gives me here that it is provisioned. So let me click on my device. Here you go to settings. Now there's a lot of things you can do. So I showed you the framing option. So you could do similar here from the PolyLens side central here. So change the camera tracking. Also on the audio side, as you can see, you can enable here also those features like noise block AI. But also if you go now to general settings and go to provider, here you go, you find also that device mode. And so you can always change here using that centralized management tool to device mode. Afterwards, maybe if there's a week like a trainer coming in who wants to be just use only the device mode, that is a possibility. And afterwards, you can always go back to the mix of those applications. But don't forget that device mode is also part of the applications that we call a sort of hybrid mode. So in case you put in that USB cable in the laptop, then it's also able to jump to that device mode. What we made it also available as an application because we have customers who just permanently just want to have that flexibility with their users. Now that is through PolyLens. All right, so now let's jump into my meeting room where I can show you that permanent device mode. So how does that end user experience look like? So here on the left side, you see the end user experience on the big screen. And here underneath, you see the TC8. So you don't really need the TC8 in case you got a mouse connected to Studio X or you have a touchscreen. You can use also those buttons, but you don't really need to use those buttons, but it is a possibility to configure and change the mute or use the volume control for the audio. Now on the big screen I got a mouse so I can navigate a little bit here through the settings, and also on the TC8 what you see right here, I can navigate through the buttons. Very nice. And I have a laptop here where I can show you what will happen when you connect a laptop and you want to share a screen. First off, what are the basic settings? So you see on the big screen, you got a mute button here on the lower left and a volume button. So you can always change that. I can just click on that. Also, you got a touch screen. As you can see, you can go really from left to right. So you can use that, but also with my mouse, I can just click on this and you can easily change that. So that is a possibility. You don't really need like a touch screen for this, but it is a possibility. And also on the TC8, same thing. You see on the lower left, you can click on volume. You can also change the volume of the Studio X. Same for the mute button. You can also do that. And you see the light also changing here. So if I click on mute, you see that on the top. You can also see that on the LED that is muted. Very nice. Now, as you can see, it invites me to connect my laptop. So let me show you that. It will ask me like connect your USB cable and connect your HDMI cable. So I got here the USB cable. So let me do that. Connect that one. So that is for the audio. And as you can see, the USB message is now gone. You can now use camera, speaker, and microphone. So it gives you sort of validation. Also on the big screen, and you can see that it gives that validation. Now, same is for the HDMI cable. So I use the HDMI in for the Studio X, and now I will share my screen, as you can see here on the big screen. And that's it. Very, very straightforward. And you just connect those devices and it's able to jump in. And of course, you will be able to combine the HDMI and USB using a USB-C hub if you want to, but I recommend to work with your AV integrator because that could be a specific combination with your laptop, etc. This is the most easy way, plug and play, and to use it for the device mode. Very, very flexible. And now you can start using that video application from your laptop side. And so I can go here into my, for example, my Zoom client, go to settings, go to video, and here you go. So here you see my video. So I add a background here on my PC. So you can see the video here from the X30, and also, as it is mentioned, Studio X30 video as it is showing there. And now same for audio. As you can see, you see there for as a speaker, you can click on test speaker. All right. And same for test mic. So this is a short test to test the audio, the microphone, the X30 mic. So this is a short test to test the audio and the microphone. Very nice. Yeah, so you can just do a quick test and see if the microphones are working and if the speaker is working. Very nice. And that's it. So you can really just, I'm using now Zoom, but you can use Starleaf or Teams or any other application that you want to use. I think very flexible. And then as soon as you're ready, you just unplug it in this way, USB cable, and then the other user can walk in and use that meeting room. I think really, really flexible. Just maybe as for a specific period of time you want to use permanent device mode, but if also customers who just use it permanently in that permanent device mode, they really need that flexibility with all those different providers, then of course that is a possibility with this mode. There is a menu which you don't see at the moment, which I want to show you. It is a menu and it sits in that side menu of the TC8, but also on the big screen you got that side menu. So let me show you that. So this is on the right side here. So if you go on the TC8 or on the right side, there's a hidden menu. So let me show you that. Here you go. And here there's some interesting subjects. For example, environment. So let me click on that. Environment means that you can hook up your X30 or G7500, you can hook that up with an Extron environment. And you can use one of their controllers, and here are some examples of those controllers. You can then use that, for example, for your blinds, your lights, turn the screens off, etc. And here you see a sort of example of such an interface. And they're able to control like anything in the room. And here you see that, yeah, that interface with all kinds of different applications. But as I said, it's just example applications. You can just easily just give that with your own logo, your own background, your own control features that are needed, and that can all be programmed. But it has an integration, Studio X and G7500, with Extron. So I think that's very, very nice. And it sits here in that side menu. You can enable that in the web interface if you want to use that. Now, the other thing what I want to show you is, for example, the camera settings. And camera settings, here you can quickly turn tracking on and off. And also you got camera control. Here you can turn also the camera tracking on and off. You can use presets if you want to. Also very nice. Here you got manual PTZ. Here you can reverse it back to give that full picture. So there's a sort of home button, which you see right here. You can also turn the tracking on and off. Now, what more do we have here? In that side menu, we got that camera, we got here the presets, so you can directly access those presets if you want to. And then, yeah, you can go here to settings. It's the last one. If you want to review some specific software versions or serial number, MAC addresses, if you need something for the support, that's also here available. Yeah, and that's it. That you got that home button to bring it back to that home. So if I click on that, you always get back into this base screen where it just invites the user to yeah, to just hook up his USB cable and to hook up his HDMI cable and have the ability to use this room. I think this is a very, very nice use case for the Studio X and G7500. Here ends my coffee tech break session for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the permanent device mode and you're able to use that in your own environment. In the next couple of weeks, I will also do the other video applications and walk you through that end user experience as well as on the big screen on the TC8. So if you like this type of video, I recommend to subscribe to my channel, and I'll give you a sign as soon as I upload one of those videos. If you have questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them as good as possible. For now, thank you for watching, and I'm already looking forward to see you in the next video.